Ooh boy, the haters are gonna come out of the woodwork for this one. Now from the get-go, let's get this out of the way. The Glock 19X is not the coolest pistol. It's not a new whiz-bang pistol. It's not the pistol that all the cool YouTube guys are getting sent to them in the mail, except OG. It's actually kind of an older offering that Glock put out as their submission to the US military's small arms, their pistol contract competition several years ago. Now Glock didn't win that competition for reasons that we'll go into at a different time, but to try and recoup some of their costs, they thought they would release the Glock 19X to you, the civilian shooter. It's a great pistol. It actually checks a lot of boxes. Now I've got access to quite a few pistols, pretty much everything that's on the market. So why do I keep coming back to a boring, old, clunky, boxy Glock 19X? Not really sure. I recently came back from a long trip overseas where I couldn't carry a firearm, and the first thing I did when I got home is I found myself loading up the Glock 19X for carry, both an appendix rig and an outside the waistband rig. Now it's still warm, pretty warm here in central California as I film this in late September. By all means, I should be carrying some tiny little subcompact, something that fits under my thumbnail, something I can tuck into my nostril and carry into non-pervasive environments. And I have those guns, but I haven't ever had a problem carrying concealed in the lightest of t-shirt and shorts this Glock 19X. Let me know in the comments section if you guys have a pistol that you just keep coming back to no matter what you buy, you just keep coming back to this favorite old pistol. And for me, it's the Glock 19X. Now I know there's better guns out there. Again, I have access to just about all of them. There are more comfortable guns, there are faster shooting guns, there are sexier guns, there are guns used by top tier special operations, Navy SEAL, midnight ninjas. Well, those guns are fine, they work great, and they work for other people. I don't know if you know this, but I've never been a trendy kind of guy.
Say what?
I know, by looking at me, you disagree, but never really been into all the trendy stuff. So when all the cool guys on YouTube jumped over to the SIG 320 series of pistols, I still stayed with my old favorite, the Smith & Wesson line of pistols, and of course, my Glock pistols. So I'll say it for you. Glocks are blocky. Glocks have not had any new innovations in 34 years. But they did it right at the beginning, and with a couple of little upgrades, I think they've made a pretty damn good pistol. There is a reason why they sell more Glocks worldwide than any other pistol combined. All other manufacturers combined pale in comparison to the number of Glocks sold to the civilian, military, and police markets all over the world. So a lot of times I go through the exercise, I'm sure you all do. What if you could pick only one gun? You're going off on some post-apocalyptic adventure. You can only take one pistol with you. And for me, I've always come back to the Glock 19X. It's got a full-size grip, so I've got full-size magazines. Now I know I can't take Glock 19 magazines in here, but I'm okay with that. But it's just a durable, accurate workhorse, in my hands at least. So you probably don't need me to even tell you this, but the Glock 19X, in case you were living under a rock, basically has the grip of the full-size Glock 17, a duty-sized pistol, and therefore takes 17-round magazines. The Glock 19X ships with some magazine base plates that increased the capacity by 2 rounds, making this for a 19-round pistol with one in the pipe. 20 rounds I can carry on me with a 19-round magazine on the side of my Tier 1 concealed holster, ready to go. And I can do this even in hot weather under minimal clothing. Just this morning I was in Walmart in loose floppy shorts, a lightweight shirt, Tier 1 concealed holster, this Glock 19X, big old heavy pistol, and a 19-round magazine. I felt pretty damn well armed. One thing all the cool guys on YouTube tend to miss is the fact that if you're ever in a gunfight, you're going to want the biggest pistol you can carry. You're going to want a full-size fighting pistol, not some dinky little subcompact. Now, those are great. They have their place. But if I can carry a full-size pistol under lightweight clothing in hot weather, I'm surely going to do that. So I set out to the range today to figure out why it is that I really like this pistol so much. It shoots so comfortable for me. Now, it's probably no secret to you that because of the full-size grip and the short little slide, this Glock 19X is far more controllable when firing, especially when firing rapid fire. The full Glock 17 size grip on this pistol allows me a full purchase on this, while the short Glock 19 length slide actually causes less recoil. Shorter slides tend to flip less than longer slide pistols do. Combine that with a nice full grip and you've got a very controllable firearm that is, boy, just a pleasure to shoot. Now, all the ammo in this video has been generously supplied by Patreon donors. So if you're not a donor and you'd like to help out OG's Danger Show, buy things like targets, ammo, magazines, camera equipment, there will be a link down in the description below. Oh boy, that's a bag of good times right there. And you can help us out with a very small pledge. It's a little tiny bit to you, but every little bit adds up to me and definitely helps make this show a little easier to produce. So thank you very much to my current Patreon donors and to you if you're considering donating. And I know you guys like watching videos about all the coolest, newest, sexiest pistols out there. I'm not typically one of those guys. This show's never really been about that. I like finding gear that works. And I like especially finding rugged gear that works. And when that rugged gear is at the, let's say, low to mid end of the price range, even better. Plus, what else are you going to do anyway? You're sitting on the toilet watching this video. I'm out here with nothing to do. I should be doing chores. But instead, I'm going to work out this Glock 19X, see what we think. It's time to get back on the sights and get this thing dialed in again for the season. And I thought I'd bring you guys along. As usual, eyes and ears every single time you shoot. Okay, one of the first things I'm going to do is just slow fire a few rounds from the holster at this green, Jolly Green Giant target. I'm going to aim for the number 7, which is high center mass here. I don't like using the X, which is way down here, actually way too low for any practical good center mass hits. Aim for the number 7. Let's stand back here at 10 yards and see what we can do. Well, I like the group, nice size group, but a little bummed out about where it is in relation to the number 7, especially with a red dot. This is why we come out and zero these pistols for carry. It's a pistol. It's probably not going to need a lot of supreme sniper-like accuracy, but I want to make sure that that red dot is as close as I can. It's been, I don't know, several months since I carried this pistol regularly, so I want to dial that red dot in before I continue carrying it now. Let's go ahead and give it a couple of turns on the wheel and then get back out there and print this thing on the number 7. Okay, we've made the adjustments to our Holosun 507C X2 red dot. Let's go ahead and stand at the same distance, see how we did pulling these rounds to the right. Okay, on the number 7, from 10 yards, Oh, I like that. Half a crank on the old dial on the hollow sun, and we are right in there on the number 7. Now we can get to playing around. So I was recently over in the UK, and I met up with several Danger Show and Tell Flater Mouse viewers. So I want to thank very much Sean down in Glasgow, Scotland, for hosting us. He gave us an all-day walking tour of beautiful Glasgow. Sean's been a viewer of both channels for quite a long time. We also met with Richard Smith in Aberdeen, Scotland, way up in the northeast coast. Had dinner with Richard. And then we made our way over to Inch, Scotland, out in the central north part of the country, where we spent some time, an awesome time, on the sheep farm of Angus. Angus goes by Long Low Dog here on YouTube. We had lunch with Angus and his wife and just hung out on their farm, their little sheep farm. Wow, what a cool place and what a great time we had. We then made our way down into England, and in Morecambe, England, we met with Dick Dixon. Dick and I have been written back and forth for years as well, and we sat and had drinks with Dick and his lovely wife. Just outside of Edinburgh, we met up with Simon Anonymous. Simon is a retired police officer from England. Simon and his wife, both police officers from England. They happen to be on holiday themselves. Our viewers are actually pretty cool on both channels. There's some weirdos out there. You guys know who you are. But we had a great time meeting the ones that we met over in the UK. They are some solid dudes. And as Angus explained to me, they kind of watch these channels. They're fans of these channels because they can't really do a lot with firearms over there. And so they really like Tell Flater Mouse and OG's Danger Show because they're basically living the firearms life through us over here in the US. So enjoy your freedom and let's protect it and not lose it so we don't end up like them where we have to have a pellet gun just for rodent eradication. This is also what Glock calls their marksman barrel. It should do all the work for me, but somehow I still have to aim. So I don't know what's up with that. Okay, now I am at 25 yards. 25 yards on this target right here. He's a brand new clean target. I'm going to put rounds, well, 25 yards away. I'm going to see how accurate I can get those rounds on. Let's try for the head of this bad guy. Since our red dot is dialed in, I should be able to make some pretty decent headshots 25 yards away. That's maximum pistol distance, probably closer to OG, you need to have a rifle. Okay, 10 rounds from 25 yards away. Yeesh, I skipped one and parted his hair on a few of these, but 25 yards away, I'm a little high.
You on drugs?
I'm okay with that. I can't exactly think what I'm going to be doing 25 yards away with a pistol. I like my 15-yard groups, which is my typical shooting distance. So I want to leave that. I don't want to adjust my red dot. But I know that if my red dot's high, if I ever have to make a 25-yard shot, I want to aim at his chin. That'll get him right between the running lights. All right, good times. Let's go ahead and ruin that paper because we have more rounds. Hey, I want to show you what I've been using real quick here to clean my guns. You got to clean your guns, folks, and this happens to be a carry pistol that I'm going to be using not only on the way home, but tomorrow and probably the rest of the week at least. I've been using this Professor Pew. It is a CLP, cleaner, lubricant, and protectant. This was sent to me by the guys over at Bravo Belt. Bravo Belt, you might know, is the spongy neoprene little super deep concealment pistol belts. Well, they're now making this cleaner, lubricant, and protectant called Professor Pew. Here's the reason I like this stuff over everything else. I'm kind of lazy. I'm a man who craves leisure. if I can clean, lubricate, and then also protect my pistol with one shot, I'm gonna do it with this. Instead of using a separate cleaner, a separate lubricant to treat my pistols, that's 2 times over every part. I can clean it and keep it pretty well lubed and protected with one shot of this Professor Pew CLP. So if you like it, go ahead and check my link down here below. I don't make anything off of this. I just believe it's a good product, and that is kind of the point of this show, is bringing you guys good products. Professor Pew has no odors, none whatsoever. It's clear, it's light, it's a lighter film than the old CLPs that you might be used to. So clear with no odors, I'm kind of liking that. So if you want to give something a try, if you need to go out and get a bunch of gun cleaners and gun oils, how about just buy one bottle instead? Go over and check out my boys at Professor Pew. Tell them you saw it here on OG's Danger Show and that you want a bottle for yourself. This is what I've been using. It's about half full now, and I really like this stuff. It now lives in the OG Danger truck. So it's always with me. Even when I don't have a full cleaning kit, I'm ready to go. And you definitely need to clean any gun that you're going to use to bet your life on. Professor Pew, you're going to like this stuff. So if you don't already have a Glock 19X, go out and get yourself one. What are you even doing waiting around? Don't even finish this video. You're going to like it. It's not the coolest thing. It's not sexy. It's not the newest whiz-bang toy out there. But it is a damn cool pistol, and you're probably going to end up moving it to the top of your favorites list like I did pretty soon. And I've got access to a shit ton of pistols. This one is one of my favorites, and definitely one of my favorites for carry. It just works. People shooting at the range, good Lord. Okay, so there's really 2 things I don't like about the Glock 19X, and that's about it. You can argue that you don't like the color. I kind of like the color. It's a peanut buttery color, and this is a little different when it comes from the factory, but they've matched it pretty closely over at JagerWorks. The Glock 19X has this little flange right here, and there are times when you get a Glock 17 magazine. This one is a Magpul magazine, doesn't really count, but a standard Glock 17 magazine, when you insert it in here, is going to hit that little flange right there and not be able to seat all the way. That's kind of a problem if you like magazine interchangeability. Now, not so with the Glock 17 and the 19X's magazines. It will take anything because that little thing up there in the front is gone. So these magazines are compatible with all my other pistols, but you gotta watch if you're gonna carry a Glock magazine that has that toe out front, because oftentimes when you put it in here, it's not gonna seat like this one does. Not a very good example, OG, when you bring the part that does work and tell us how it doesn't work. But just trust me that the standard Glock magazines can hang up on that. Now, easily remedied. You could take a little Dremel and just zip that thing right off of there. Most of us have to modify our guns anyway because we're men. So zip that little lip right off of there and you'll be good to go. Here's problem number 2. The Glock 19X doesn't look like the rest of your Glocks. So if you have a bunch of black guns around and you're carting them through the house, laying them on the counter, and your wife sees them, you can just always say it's the same gun. The Glock 19X looks completely different. So it's tough to convince your wife that this is the same gun when you go out and buy a new one with your little slush fund. Here's what I recommend you do. Buy your Glock 19X and a can of spray paint. It doesn't matter what color can of spray paint. She's not going to pay attention. Set the Glock 19X and the can of spray paint on the counter. Introduce her to it. Say, this is just my gun that I painted. What do you think about my paint job? She's going to glance over her shoulder while she's watching Outlander on her phone, and she's going to say, yeah, that looks really nice, honey. And she's going to go back to her little world. So you've gotten away with a brand new pistol that she thinks you just painted. So there's the only problem with the Glock 19X. Easily remedied. So there's a little tip from Uncle OG. So I'm really bummed that this is probably one of my favorite pistols and definitely in the top 5 of my carry pistols that, shoot, this thing might even be in the top 3. But again, here on the Danger Show, pretty much the reason I run this show is to bring you top quality gear, very, very rugged, reliable gear that will always work in protecting you and your family. And again, I don't have enough tattoos or a long enough beard to be one of those high-speed operators on YouTube. Instead, I'm out there trying to find gear that's going to work for you, the doughy middle-aged dad, when you go out to protect your wife, your kids, your family, and your community. And I believe gear like this Glock 19X will do you good in all of those categories. So there you have it. Sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite pistol is, the one you keep coming back to all the time. I appreciate you guys watching this show. It's nothing new, it's nothing sexy, but it gives you something to watch here on the YouTube. All right, I got to pack up and head back into town. I appreciate you guys stopping by, shooting with me out here at the range and getting this pistol dialed in. You guys stay safe out there. Carry whenever and wherever you can. And until next video, OG out.